shady, baby, I'm hot, light up a roller coaster. Pick up a little mini money, mo and flower, you're the chosen one. Well, your left free, and your right team grip, with another left hand watches right and slip, swords is gone.
Hey everyone, this is Jaden Haidar, and I'm here today to finally talk about STARGIRL. Now, when this show was teased at the end of Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 5, I was very intrigued, although it wasn't like I didn't hear about it before. I heard about it when it was announced to be going to the DC Universe streaming service, which at the time I was not a fan of. Which had bummed me out because that would mean that I probably would not be seeing this series anytime soon. However, it seems that fate decided otherwise when it was announced to also be on the CW, which is the primary home for DC television. I was very excited at the mere thought that I would be able to lay my eyes upon this show. And from the first episode alone, I knew this show was different from any DC show I've seen, and that it transcended DC and started to shine as its own thing. And that is definitely a good thing. As the weeks went on and as the show continued to air, the show started working its way up all my lists. STARGIRL started to become my fourth favorite character, even bumping Catra to 5th place. It started to beat out other DC franchises that I love, like the Dark Knight trilogy, Wonder Woman, and Shazam, to become my favorite DC product. The show started to beat out other shows on my list, like Stranger Things, Euphoria, and even Supergirl, which for those who have been with my channel for a while, you know how much Supergirl means to me as a series. Just for expositional needs though, Supergirl isn't just the show that got me into watching TV again. It isn't just the show that got me into superhero television, but it was also the show that got me into DC television. It wasn't until Supergirl and The Flash crossed over in Supergirl Season 1 that I got interested in The Flash and the other Arrowverse shows. However, no series in this vein has been able to replicate the feeling that Supergirl brought me in terms of television, and superhero television in that matter. However, I am proud to say that after watching the entirety of Season 1 of STARGIRL, another show has finally been added to the shelf that Supergirl is on. I can go on for hours to tell you how amazing this series is, and that's why this is called a Season 1 rave. I haven't done a rave of anything since Alita Battle Angel, and you know, the reason why this is a rave is because I have been waiting all this time to finally let out my positivity and enthusiasm to this show. And now, you best believe I'm going to do it. The narrative of this show is absolutely phenomenal. There wasn't one episode where I felt like it dragged or it was filler by any means, and that's rare to come by now, especially with superhero shows. This show has a score, and I mean a musical score, a compositional score, by Pinar Toprak. Sorry if I butchered her name there. But for those that don't know know who that is, that is the same composer that composed the soundtrack for Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel! That's like saying they got a new composer for Supergirl, for Supergirl, and it ended up being Hans Zimmer. That is how major this is. And the soundtrack benefits the story and what we are seeing like tenfold. It makes everything so much more epic. Now, Breck Passenger. Breck Passenger. Oh, sorry. Breck Passenger. I absolutely loved her in this show. and I have no doubt that she will continue to be great. She kind of reminds me of Isabel Merced though, in a sense. Not because they both come from Nickelodeon backgrounds, but it is because of their comeuppance and how they are both getting bigger and better roles. I also think that Breck's performance in this show was very nuanced, and she reminded me of Tom Holland's Spider-Man mixed with a younger version of Kara from Supergirl, which is great. Courtney Whitmore is also a character that went through a transformation as the season progressed, because she went from being a rebellious teenager that was mad because, you know, she left the place that she called home in order to go to Blue Valley, and then not to mention her father being gone and being replaced by Pat, who we will talk about later. And, you know, she goes from that rebellious teenager who is pretty much mad at the world and her situation to becoming a superhero, to becoming humble, to becoming strong, to becoming a leader, to becoming just an overall three-dimensional character. And she was very likable from the beginning, even with all those qualities that she had at the beginning. So, you know, making me care about Courtney Whitmore as a character was made much easier. And, you know, again, Breck Bassinger's performance definitely helped out with that, like, a lot. And I hope that we see Breck Bassinger in more things. You know, obviously not just this show, but other things too. And Courtney Whitmore, aka Stargirl, just like the other characters in my favorite characters list, share similar qualities. And those qualities, the main two being unique and super relatable. Again, when it comes to my favorite characters, they are characters that I choose because I can see myself in them. Not physically, but in terms of characteristics and personality. And Courtney Whitmore definitely fits that description. You know, she's such a phenomenal character, and she's went through so much growth. And it definitely reminded me of like a point in my life where I went through like the same type of, I'm not a superhero or anything, but in terms of like her personal struggles, what she went through in the season, you know, I just felt like that was extremely relatable, especially like when it comes to comparing and contrasting my life to hers. And I also thought that the whole plot where she was trying to avenge her father, and this might be a slight spoiler here, but the fact that she was trying to avenge her father, who she thought was Starman, but turns out to be just some regular blowhard, basically. You know, and then like it completely destroyed her, and it made her like rethink everything, you know. And that's when I feel like Courtney started to get like 10 times more humble, and she started to realize, you know, I'm Stargirl for a reason, and my reason is to save people and save lives. And that was such a great moment, you know. Yeah, I just loved it. And that whole Starman plot isn't really over, because the cliffhanger that season 1 leaves on, you know, we could get a whole bunch of things from that. So, you know, we'll see about that. But you know, like, I just love Courtney as a character. She's turned out to be one of my favorite characters because, you know, she's just phenomenally written. And huge respect to her character, to Courtney Whitmore as a character too, because her character is obviously in tribute to I believe it was Jeff Johns' sister, I believe. So yeah, that makes her character even more important. So yeah, and plus Breck Bassinger. Oh, okay. Breck Bassinger did such a great job playing her that I'm just like, yeah. And when it comes to the new JSA team, I liked them as well. I thought they had great developments, great character motivations, and they each had compelling stories. Although the most compelling story was definitely for Yolanda. I feel like Yolanda had an arc that was tragic, and it was really sad the way we were introduced to Yolanda's character. But at the same time, as the season progressed, we started to see how her character is going to progress and how she was going to, be more confident in herself, and, she would have a group that she could rely on, to like really be herself, which was, it was a great arc, it really was. I also thought that Rick had a great arc as well, although I feel like his arc, compared to everybody else's, will take a couple more seasons to really flesh out, because Rick as a character is very like, well, I'm angry, I gotta get revenge. And I think like, by the way season 1 ends with him letting Solomon Grundy escape and him not killing him, I feel like that it was the start to his development. And even the way we leave him in season 1, it feels like he's more relaxed and more calm, like he's a lot happier now that he got all of that off his chest, and I feel like Rick will definitely be a more standout character with the following seasons to come, because his character shows a lot of great potential, and it will definitely develop when the seasons progress. And when it comes to Beth, I thought that Beth was definitely a relatable character, but I also felt like there was also an amount of sadness because she was alone. She didn't have any friends until she realized that Courtney and Yolanda were superheroes, and then that's when the whole development started. Even though Courtney and Yolanda were kind of like, I don't know, but that's when it really started. And I feel like, especially when she became Dr. Midnight, I think that's I'll correct it in post if I'm wrong, but I think her super name is Dr. Midnight. That's when everything changed, and she got hooked with the goggles. I forget what the AI's name was though. Yeah, Chuck. That's the name of the AI, Chuck. I felt like development with Beth and Chuck was very heartfelt too. And when Chuck was destroyed in the season finale, I really felt Beth's pain, because throughout the entire season they were so close. So for me, I really felt that too. And I thought that they were all great. Not to mention that Pat Dugan was such a great character, and his relationship with Starman, and how he basically went to retirement, and then once Courtney found the staff, he was like, no, we're not going through this again. And how his development really changed, because he was just looking out for Courtney, making sure she didn't get hurt or didn't get killed by the Unjust Society. And then once Courtney and the team proved themselves, he's like, alright, well, I guess we can do it. And the relationship between Pat and Courtney's mom, I also thought was really good too, because I definitely felt the bond, especially when they showed scenes like Pat and Courtney's mother at the diner and how they first met. I just really enjoyed that aspect of it. I thought Pat was a phenomenal character. He also had a cool suit. I like that suit. Now, if I were to dig deep to find any issues with it, it's only one. And it's really with certain members of the Injustice Society. Because I feel like characters like Sportsmaster, his wife, the Lizard. He's not the Lizard, but that's what he looks like underneath, so that's why I call him the Lizard. I feel like they didn't have that much development. Although the Lizard's daughter, she was epic. She was probably on the level of Icicle and Brainwave for me. Like, she was great, although she spent like the second half of the first season locked in a cage. So, you know, I think we'll definitely see a lot more of her in season 2. But I feel like, you know, her, Icicle, and Brainwave had great developments. I also think that Brainwave's son was great, and I thought that the twist that Courtney and Brainwave's son were related, that was great. That was a shocker. But, you know, only problem is, like, certain members of the Injustice Society I thought could have gotten more development. But overall, Stargirl Season 1 is a start to a truly phenomenal series. And I can say without the shadow of a doubt that this is my new Supergirl. Don't get me wrong, I still love Supergirl. But Stargirl Season 1 has brought out levels of excitement in me that I haven't felt for a TV show since Supergirl Season 1. With a mixture of phenomenal characters, a great narrative, great soundtrack, outstanding fight scenes, and a feel, in my opinion, unlike any DC series, I am going to give Stargirl Season 1 a 9.5 out of 10. And the reason why I don't give it a 10 out of 10 is because of what I said with certain members of the Injustice Society not getting that much development. But I absolutely love this series, and I feel like every DC show that I've seen, Doom Patrol, Arrow, The Flash, Legends, Titans, Black Lightning, Batwoman, and yes, even Supergirl, have been topped by this show in my opinion. And I can't wait until 2021 so we can officially return to Earth 2 and get more of this show. And since now it's going to be on the CW, I am completely expecting a crossover with Supergirl, because you know I love crossovers. And Brooke Bassinger said that she would love to do it, so, you know, hopefully they can fit it in. Supergirl travels to Earth 2, there you go. But, you know, I love this show so much, I can't wait to return to it in 2021. It's not at She-Ra levels yet, but I have a feeling that it might get there someday. So yeah, I'm Jaden Haidara, saying peace.